Hey guys, welcome back to Before Pen and Paper. Tonight I'm with the rest of the hosts and we'll be talking about character redemption.
Yeah, redemption arcs, yay!
Someone's enthused, someone's ready, someone's in the mood for redemption.
In the mood, that's a good song. Anyways, I don't know, what's the most popular redemption arc, do you think?
Zuko.
In all of fiction. Zuko?
It's Zuko.
Like, no,
Hands down,
Just because I said that
Avatar.
earlier doesn't mean it's the most popular in all of fiction.
Well, that's
In
why
Paris.
so therefore it's popular. Yeah. No, never mind. No, but
I don't know.
Popular now. It's probably the most popular now.
no, but it had the most compelling redemption arc by far.
Zuko.
That doesn't mean it's the most popular.
Go with Zuko. Zuko's redemption.
Great. So, I don't know. It's been a while since I saw Avatar The Last Airbender. I was like 12 or something.
A wee lad.
A wee lad.
It's been
But I don't
never
know,
since I saw it.
It's been
You've
never.
never seen it
Never
before?
seen it.
I've never finished it. I've
Oh.
seen episodes. I've never. I guess this is the part where I'm.
Wait, so you never got Zuko versus, what's her face? Azula?
Azula.
Azula?
You never got to the part where they're in Bossing City and literally Zuko.
No,
is
I didn't
hiding
I didn't get to Backflip Girl or any of those. I didn't get to like Uncle Iroh's arc and
Anyways, I just like how his redemption arc was gradual. How it was driven instinctively out of, like, self-serving motives. Like, he wanted to keep them out of the hands of the other fire general, whatever his name was.
His dad.
No, not
there was that
his
other dude.
well, not only that, the other general they had like,
General
the-
Zhao.
Agni Kai.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I want to be the one to bring in the Avatar, but as he went on, he saw, like, the, how should I say it? Like, the moral fallacies of the Fire Nation. And he was like, oh, no, this isn't all right. This is not okay. And then Uncle Iroh was like, no, Zuko, it's not okay. And that was his redemption arc.
Right.
So
Pretty much. Who's got another good redemption arc?
You've got Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars.
Anakin Skywalker had a... Oh, you mean... Oh, yeah.
Or, well, you can call it Vader now, but...
spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched.
Who
The
hasn't
Star Wars
watched this
trilogy.
next episode? On
I haven't.
Oh!
I haven't watched
He's not missing much.
I haven't
He's seen
watched
memes
any
enough
of
to-
the-
to understand it.
any of the trilogy. I've only watched the only episode that I've watched in full was it episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Wow.
See, this is the part where
And
I really want
that's
to
just because I
strangle
had-
Will now.
That's just because I had it on VHS in my house. Everything else I know is for memes. And and Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga for Nintendo DS.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good source of information.
I
It
mean,
tells you the whole story. That's true.
I mean, honestly, the dialogue, like even without
The
the dialogue,
dialogue.
I could still get because there's no dialogue in the game. So, but it still kind of works.
I thought you were going to say, like, the dialogue was the best part. Like, the writing was masterful. Oh, my goodness. Anakin's line in episode 3. Oh, man.
Horror.
I've never seen such beautiful script writing in my entire life.
This is gonna be the episode where I cannot contribute anything.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker was the chosen one, which is a stupid literature premise, which is overdone. Anyways, but I kind of like the idea they took with him, where he's a chosen one, but he was a chosen one in a different way, where he actually screwed everyone over before making everything right.
Yeah. Kind of
Yep.
the best
And
part about it.
I liked how his redemption arc was driven by his son, rather than like, I hate the Emperor. More like, oh man, my son.
Yeah, it wasn't actually through himself, it was
Mhm.
for someone else. Very good
It
writing.
was good,
On
but
that part.
it kind of came out of left field. He was kind of like, oh man, you're electrocuting my son. That's a no-go. Guess I'll defect.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like George Lucas just
I
had-
think most people would do that.
Wait, what?
Guess I'm about to throw you off a
I think
cliff, my
I think
dude.
anyone would feel that if they saw their son getting electrocuted.
And it depends on the person.
Yeah.
No?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
no, I know what
Yeah.
you mean.
I would.
You would. Good for you.
Same.
You're welcome.
David is a family man.
I aspire to be.
Anyway, who else do we have?
There's Loki.
Loki. Loki from
Loki had a good one because still like he was still pretty mischievous until like the very end with when in Endgame, like
Well, it
that
wasn't.
was or what is it? Ragnarok was when he first started not being a bad
He's
guy.
still technically a bad guy, but not entirely.
Yeah, when he's starting to to go over.
What are they called? Anti-heroes?
He was like his
anti-hero?
anti-hero.
Yes.
another thing that's overdone. Anti-heroes, they get stupid if you do them too much, because then you're like, oh man, there's another guy with the morally gray actions, and he's killing people. Oh no, oh, what do we do?
Deadpool.
Yes, David, Deadpool. Because everyone
love
loves
Deadpool.
Deadpool, Venom.
Deadpool's
doesn't have a
great.
redemption arc.
Deadpool's
Deadpool's just
hilarious.
weird.
I've never watched the movies.
Agreed.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. Anyway, moving on.
I've never watched him either, but I know he's hilarious.
That's fair.
Moving on. What are some more?
Well,
I mean, these are popular characters, right? Popular pop culture characters.
We've got
What about characters?
yeah.
that
What
are
about Severus or Cerberus?
Severus?
You know, from the Harry Potter
Severus
movies.
Snape.
Or
Oh yes, I read Harry Potter.
I never watched those, so y'all are gonna have to clue me in.
Wait, you want it spoiled? I guess you don't care.
No, he didn't really care. Yeah.
So Severus Snape, he was a guy. He was a mean teacher, basically. And then it turns out that Severus Snape was like helping Harry all along, even though he seemed like an antagonist. He was like, I'm saving Harry's life. And he was also like, I was in love with Harry's mom when I was a wee lad. That's pretty much it.
Were
Okay.
there any differences in the books to the movies?
Not really, no.
'Cause I've never read the books, so.
I mean, it fleshes out the dialogue more. In the movies, it's just kind of like flashbacks to like, oh man, they're like lying on the grass together. Wow, what a scene! And then in the books, it's kind of like it shows the actual progression of the relationship and how Snape became what he was. And then it shows like his motivations for doing everything he did. It's like the whole thing. It's pretty cool, actually. If only J.K. Rowling wasn't insane.
This is true. Actually, I can't say anything because I've never seen it.
Yeah, but no, he had a good redemption arc, right? Because it was
he had a pretty good redemption arc.
it was very emotionally driven.
Yeah, the scene where he died actually, it got to me pretty hard.
I think it was the fact that he was a selfless character at the very end, where it's just like
Yeah.
he was selfless, but his motivations were. It's kind of a weird contradiction.
But I mean, he was selfless technically the whole time. It's just that no one ever knew about it.
No, because he was doing it for because he felt like he owed Lily, which is the name of Harry's mom. He owed Lily like that much to protect her son, because he was the reason why she died.
Oh,
So that could be considered a
And that's where like he sort of has that grudge, I guess, because he sort of blames Harry for his parents' death, especially for Lily, because he survived, but
he also
didn't.
hated Harry because Harry reminded him of his father, who bullied Snape when he was a young lad.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So the fact that Snape was a jerk throughout like the first 6 books.
That's a long jerk. That's a long jerk time.
Well, it's because he just didn't like Harry, because Harry reminded him of James. But the fact that he was able to put his own like pettiness and selfishness aside for the sake of the greater good, and to actually like keep Harry alive and actually care for Harry as an extension of Lily, was pretty nice. It's also interesting insofar as it's not a redemption arc that happens after the fact, but it's a redemption arc that happens at the beginning, before the books even begin, and you're just now discovering about it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not your typical redemption arc like Zuko or Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
So considering all this, what would you guys say is like what would make the best kind of redemption arc?
Let's see. I feel like wait for the best kind of redemption arc.
Yeah,
like the best attribute of it.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. What I'm trying to figure out is how would you write a redemption arc so that it's probably the most relatable and it makes the most sense and it's also the most like enthralling, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the right term.
Well, wouldn't that, in terms of that, wouldn't like, as I've heard Snape's redemption arc.
Yeah.
Like that make his probably the most relatable, since there's something so human about the fact that his redemption has always been there. Like he just has his own pettiness that he has to deal with, but other than that, like he has like this own little debt that he needs to pay to himself. He doesn't like redemption arcs like that. I feel are the most human because they're still sometimes in their own right selfish, because we do them to clear our conscience or we do them to pay our dues and such.
Yeah, I feel like redemption arcs based off someone's own moral compass is most relatable. Like something that tugs on someone's conscience until they eventually reform themselves, which I guess is part of the reason behind all redemption arcs. But like, if you pronounce it more, that makes for a more, I don't know, believable / heartfelt redemption.
So is there something that could be like close to a redemption arc but not an actual redemption arc?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, is there like, how do I say it? So you have like a base redemption arc. Let's say there's like a template for redemption arcs, right? And if there's like something like a key component that if you took it away, like it wouldn't be a redemption arc anymore.
Well, I'd feel like if you take away just like the struggle of the character, like on it, like how do I phrase this?
Like
their
they
struggle
all
to be redeemed,
become good, or
No, the struggle for them to make the choice of either falling back into their old ways or doing something that is completely foreign to them. Like, for example,
go ahead.
Yeah, for example, I'm gonna draw on Zuko. How I remember the episode when Team Avatar, they're in some underground Earth Kingdom base or whatever, and Zuko finds Appa. Appa's just like held captive, and he has to decide whether to free the creature or not. And it's at that point where Iroh comes in and he pokes at the conscience of Zuko, telling him to be the man that his father wants him to be, or be the man that he wants himself to be. Because like during the entire series, Zuko is trying to be the man that his father wants him to be, because it's about his honor and going and like being seen as like the perfect son to the Fire Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, so it has to deal with one's own, how do I say, journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
So like, as in like one needs to be able to like find or like know themselves in it or find themselves, and two is free will. Because like you're saying, Uncle Iroh's like wisdom is like pushing him along, but it's still his choice to make.
Yeah.
So okay, those are good because that makes sense. If you took either one of those away, it takes a big chunk out of, how do I say it? Out of them.
Yeah, because they don't make him into a robot.
A robot.
Well, yeah. If you take away free will, then it's definitely just like they're just puppets that we can just manipulate for the sake of the story.
Yeah,
they just become good out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I think,
sounds familiar.
That one's just like, but the one about actual like knowing themselves or like figuring themselves out for the sake of their own redemption that's a good one, because how do I say, like, to be redeemed you have to, it's like when you apologize for something that you don't really know what you did wrong, like you can't really apologize nor can you really be forgiven. And redemption doesn't necessarily mean forgiveness, but like, you still need to be aware of the fact that
it does for the fan base.
Well, this is true. However,
I don't agree with the fan base. Yeah, I don't agree with the fan base, Xavier. I know it sounds controversial. You can quote me on that 5 years later when all these internet trolls want to flame me for it.
Wait, you're not an internet troll? Hold on, that's news to me.
Oh, I'm an internet goblin, actually.
Okay.
Slight, subtle, but very significant difference.
I classify as a Google Hobbit.
I classify as an Oompa Loompa.
Just gonna start breakdancing and singing a song while someone is like
Augustus
getting roasted
Loop.
on the internet.
Drowning in a swamp.
Anyway,
Drowning in a
What a
swamp of
life to
hateful
lead.
comments.
What a life to live.
there are also no redemption arcs in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They just kind of like go through their whole ordeal and they're like, oh man, that guy's 10 feet tall now. What a shame.
Well, actually, question: what do you guys think about Gru?
Grew from Despicable Me?
Yes,
What a
I mean,
lad.
he
Okay,
did have a redemption.
Okay, technically, I think we do have a redemption arc here.
We do.
You could-
Despicable Me
you-
is
you
arguably
could definitely make-
animation's best
You could
movie.
make. Oh yeah, you can make a good case for Despicable Me's Gru having a redemption arc. Basic, but still there. He
He's
goes
got a good
from
one.
stone cold killer villain to I love my children. I don't know.
Darth Vader.
I love my
Yeah.
6'7" young 11-year-old girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Megamind?
Megamind. I love Megamind.
Oh! That is a great.
That's actually a pretty good one. I like that one.
Because that one, I don't know. That's like that one actually, because the whole movie actually questions like free will. It questions like whether or not we actually get to decide who we are and what we do, or do the circumstances define us.
Mhm.
And it's challenged through like Megamind is the, how do I say, antithesis, or he is the thesis. Like we do have free will,
I
and
also like the
people
way
can
that
change.
Megamind had a redemption arc, but the hero did not.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting.
That's
The
true.
hero is
The
a
hero kind of
douchebag.
went downhill.
He never really.
I don't think the
Hero's a
hero.
douchebag.
I don't think the hero went downhill. I think he was always there. He just chose not to change
Good point.
because he leaves for his own selfish, stupid reason. He just kind of
Thanks to
leaves the city.
douchebag.
To
Comes
oh
over.
yeah, that's true. But what I'm saying is, I don't think
And Music
he was.
Man was born.
I don't think he was really anything different at the start.
No, yeah.
I think it was just more. He just felt more obligated to be a hero at the start, and at the end, like when he fakes his death and all that, he just kind of came to the realization that he doesn't feel obligated, at least in his own mind. He doesn't feel like he owes anyone anything, and so he leaves, even though he kind of, I don't know, he owes the city a lot because they do
You know
a
what I
lot
found
for him as
interesting
well.
about Megamind though is that the main character didn't really do anything that atrocious. It's all implied. Like you don't actually see him kill anyone. He just trashes the city a bit. The only person that you think he kills is is Metro Man,
the hero.
and then
Yeah.
he doesn't even kill Metro Man.
Who he doesn't
even-
actually kill.
He doesn't appear interested in really harming anyone, which I find interesting. Like-
He just wants to.
Yeah,
How do I
this is
say?
true.
He's always trying to do his part. That's why when he kills Metro Man, he's just like, I have no like role anymore because my partner is gone. That's why he goes out and
Like
tries
the
to
Joker.
create.
Joker.
That's why he goes out and creates Titan, because he's like, my other half is missing, and without that, I actually like have no purpose. He found his purpose in fighting Metro Man. So he did like he didn't find purpose in killing and going on a rampage. That's why do you think Roxanne is always like, she's super bored with all of the same old tricks? Because that's all he's interested in doing, is getting Metro Man's attention through like the pettiest stuff. He doesn't like
Yeah.
his goal isn't destruction and chaos. His goal is his duel with Metro Man.
So he's
And here you
redeemed
thought that
from
you didn't
He
have
is the
anything to
subject.
contribute to the conversation.
Lovely.
Well, Megamind is a great cinematic
Megamind is a good
masterpiece.
movie.
He did say he was going to go off our notes.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
just kind of
actually,
He's
rebounding.
going off our notes pretty well.
I'm probably
Actually,
like,
when
The question
Check
just
on the
falls
bad
onto
boy.
something that I've been wondering for a while now.
what?
Go ahead.
Yes.
So with all the characters that we've named for redemption arcs, there's possibly one other character that you guys may disagree on this.
Okay.
Ooh. Conflict.
Yeah, and which is why you probably need to
Drama.
care about this. Darth Maul from Star Wars.
Well, are you talking about
Oh.
Rebels? I never watched Rebels.
Am I the only one who's watched Rebels here?
I
Yes,
only
you are.
watched
You're the Star Wars
The
nut,
Phantom
Paris.
Menace. I only watched The Phantom Menace.
Remember, you just
You
want to
I
can't.
have seen
I'm gonna
maybe
I'm gonna-
5 minutes of the first episode and then memes of every other episode.
To be fair, I watched an I think I watched like a little video about Darth Maul,
General
like his
Grievous. You're shorter than I expected.
whole. Isn't Darth Maul like betrayed or something like that? Like even after he gets his torso cut off, he gets like spider legs.
The
and
Disney
he's-
man and the
Yeah.
Palpatine man.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
see, how do I say it? Well, it's established in the Star Wars universe that, after Maul was practically betrayed by Darth Sidious, that he isn't aligned to any one side. Like, he's his own person, but there are moments in Star Wars where he kind of looks out for the good of others, but he's always out for himself.
I know how he dies, and
It's
that's
like a
my
bounty
very
hunter.
redemptive
See,
way
I
to
don't-
die.
I don't know if what I know about Darth Maul. So you're saying that he's not affiliated to either side? That doesn't make him.
Yeah, he's not affiliated with either.
Yeah,
side.
remember. Yeah, remember. The Joker isn't affiliated to either side. Like in his own mind, like he doesn't side with anyone because, as shown by the fact that if you watch the movies, read comics, he'll kill anyone, good or bad. He does not care. He threatens to kill himself all the time more than anyone else.
Well, yeah,
But this, like, what I'm saying is, just because you leave the bad guys doesn't mean you're with the good guys or you're better for it.
He also
Yeah.
dies
He's the-
in like revenge. He tries to take revenge against Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, "Well, guess you're dead now," and he dies.
Does he really? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
pretty much.
Murder.
That- Paris? Rebuttal? Is that how he dies? Say it ain't so.
Wait, repeat again.
You're like in the desert, and then
Xavier?
Darth Maul comes up to old Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, "Hey, man." And Darth Maul's like, "Hey, man, your time to die." And Obi-Wan's actually, no, it's your turn to die. And Maul
No,
was
you.
like, oh no, and then he dies. Right.
Not
What
exactly.
are you talking about? That's a word for word.
Yes.
Then let's hear
No,
It's
it's
dialogue.
not.
verbatim.
I
verbatim,
entirely disagree with
the
that.
script written by George Lucas reads
Dude,
as
dude,
I
Written by
quote,
George Lucas. It was written by Dave Filoni.
Mr. What? Poloni?
David Salami.
Yeah, I
Dave
was like,
Filoni, the
Filoni.
creator of Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Oh
That was
yeah,
George
like, I know that.
Lucas.
Yeah,
the
because we're-
director of
because I spent my
Mandalorian.
whole life archiving all. Paris, did
Impossible.
you write the Wikipedia?
Perhaps the
for Star
archives are
Wars?
incomplete.
I just had a thought about it actually. So
Ooh, I like thoughts.
yeah, well, this is relating back to Maul. Okay, for some reason I have an obsession with him at the moment for tonight. So
Maul's
It's
great.
creepy.
He's kind
Maul's
of
my
hot,
favorite
right?
Sith.
Looks like we have four
Yeah, well-
different opinions here.
Okay,
well,
go Paris.
I was actually thinking. So, Blue, you've only watched The Phantom Menace, right?
As we've well established at this point.
So, you know about like the amount of, or like the lackluster of scenes that Maul actually has in the movie, correct?
Yeah, he just kind of
Maul literally shows up in like episode 1 in the desert with some binoculars on or something like that, or like in the first part with some binoculars, and then at the end for the final fight,
Yeah.
Something like that.
Dies.
something like that. It's very. Those are the only two that I remember. If there was a third scene that I don't know of, someone.
I mean, he was also on Coruscant too, but that doesn't really count. Anyway,
Okay.
I mean, that was actually the only other time that you actually heard him talk. So,
Oh, he talks?
He talks.
Yeah,
You just
he
thought he was
talked in that
quiet the
scene.
entire time.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
like all I remember of him is just him like standing there in the desert all lonesome, and then him like whipping out the dual edged lightsaber, the double sided lightsaber. And I was like, whoa! I've never seen one of those before, and that's why he's
Of
my
course,
favorite
yeah.
Sith. That's why he's my favorite
Yeah,
Sith.
so
What about the other light Sith that have double-sided lightsabers?
I don't know them.
Anyway.
Episode 1, baby.
So back to the program.
anyway, so well, I don't know if this would actually be tied into a redemption arc now that I think about it,
He's just kind of a weirdo.
but it sort of redeemed his character in a way.
Okay.
How like they flushed him out in both the Clone Wars and Rebels
That's
because
not
he was like,
redeeming him. That's just making him a well-rounded character. So it's not
Well,
just
yeah,
like,
but-
oh man, he's not a one-note murderer man who killed Qui-Gon Jinn.
yeah, I know, but like the fact that such a character was like sort of cast out, but now comes back in a way where fans like him. Like I know, like this is entirely different from what we were talking about, like about redemption arcs.
Then why are you?
But the
saying
fact that, but the fact that his like character was in a way redeemed,
Not
you know,
redeemed. It's
kind of fits it.
no. Xavier said it. He's flushed out. He's made a 3-dimensional character. That doesn't necessarily mean they actually redeemed him.
Yeah, I know, but how do I say this?
It's not a redemption arc. It's just his character arc.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's not a redemption arc, but
Wonderful.
the fact that as a Star Wars fan, you would expect much more from a character who is intriguing and should have had a lot more in-depth characterization.
So you're
And
saying that
now-
he didn't get enough, or that he did?
Well, he didn't get enough in the movie, but now from the Clone Wars and Rebels and from other comic sources,
So
he has been in a way redeemed as a character.
no, the studio has redeemed themselves.
No,
by actually creating a character, like a full character now.
Disney
because
doesn't
the
know what they're
studio-
doing. You just have to ask them the third-party studios.
Yeah. Well, because what is it? You're saying it's not that Darth Maul has been redeemed. It's that they went from the movie, which is like nothing, just dude, he killed Liam Neeson, get him, to freaking now, like now he's like this like sad little spider leg man out in the desert, and he just
Insane, clinically.
just trying
It
to get
wasn't
some.
even Spider-Man in the desert.
I mean, he
Yes,
had
it
was. He
actual
was-
legs by
yeah.
that point.
He had like the spider legs, right? Didn't he have like?
Yeah, but he made it into
No,
actual
that was in the
legs.
Clone Wars.
They, like,
Oh.
they had
They
the
have
Force
actual
field.
legs in Episode 1.
Episode 1. I'm talking about. Wait, well, wasn't he like when he left the bad guys? Didn't he like go out and live in the desert again? I could be wrong.
No.
He went with
Okay.
the Night
No.
Sisters, and then
He went out and made his own little criminal empire.
Oh, good for him. Hey, businessman, entrepreneur, like it.
Anyways,
But so he just goes from like having no character to like actually having a character. That just shows that the people who actually make Star Wars content have gotten better, or they're different people who are better. It doesn't show that Darth Maul has gotten better necessarily. It's just that they've actually given a character to Darth Maul.
oh my goodness, can we talk about Disney, please? Please, can we talk about
Disney redemption arcs in Disney.
Disney? No,
Shoot,
no,
Xavier.
not
Does Disney
No.
have a
Redemption arcs in
I'm
Disney.
saying thereof.
Oh, the
If,
lack thereof.
if you were a young lad,
You cut
And you
out
guys-
for 2 seconds because it's so loud. Oh,
if you were a young lad,
okay.
if you ever were
Repeat.
a young lad in your
Never.
life, never. Okay, that's unfortunate. Anyways, there was a book series called Artemis Fowl.
Okay.
Have you read it?
No.
Is it a good
Okay.
series?
Oh, that's
I
right,
never
forgot you
heard
weren't a
about it
young
until
lad.
now.
I forgot.
I
Anyways,
wasn't a young
Artemis Fowl.
lad.
It was about essentially he's a 12-year-old kid, right? So you're like, oh man, I'm not 12-year-olds, but he acts like he's 24.
What?
Basically, the premise of the
goodness.
book is that there is like fairies in real life, and that they're
Mhm.
like they're
That's
like not
cursed.
Oh man, I'm a fairy. They're like leprechauns and goblins and dwarves and stuff like that. Anyways,
Oh.
So it's not like Tinkerbell, but
kind of.
Harry Potter.
It's a bit grotesque because they play out like actual species, and there's some gross stuff that they do, just like anatomically. Anyways,
Okay.
the
Oh, never
This
Get on with
mind.
it.
I'm not gonna think about that.
this character Artemis, he's a genius, right? He's like a light Yagami / Lelouch, Lamp Rouge,
Okay.
intelligent. Except he's
Okay.
like,
So he's
yeah, basically
overpowered as all hell.
he finds a way to essentially kidnap a fairy and demand ransom from the fairy capital or whatever.
He committed.
Well,
He
good for
committed
you,
a whole terrorist
buddy.
attack at 12.
Yeah, no, his whole thing is that his father was like involved with the mafia and that
Dude,
they're,
it's like
they have a
Caillou.
criminal empire. Anyways, so he starts off with this little 12-year-old jerk who acts like a grown man, and he has like he does a bunch of morally questionable things,
That's gross.
like chaining up someone his age in a basement with no light for 3 days straight.
Oh my gosh.
His
Well,
mother is
his
like
parents-
His parents
Jeez.
running the mob.
his mother is ill
What
and his
the
father is
heck?
like in hostage from the mafia. So that's what he's trying to get money to pay the ransom for his father, if I'm remembering correctly, who's being held by the mafia.
Oh, his father doesn't run the mob.
So he has a
He got by the mob.
Yeah, he
Oh,
got
okay.
caught. Anyways,
he got
so yeah,
got-
Artemis. It's just the whole thing just takes place. It's not important. The point is you throughout the book series you see his growth from like a snobbish genius man who has weird tendencies to like
Okay.
an actual to an actual like caring person who cares about his acquaintances and friends and like sacrifices himself willingly
Really?
because
So
of, like, their
it's
you
a
know
redemption
common
arc.
enemy. It's a redemption arc. But the thing is, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, hold, just calm down. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
weird-
All right, listen to me. Disney, being the geniuses that they are, decided to adapt the first book into a feature length film. Right.
Uh-oh.
As you all know, Disney is excellent at adapting things. In case you weren't aware, Disney adapted the first 2 movies of Percy Jackson. Yeah, so- dude, they're the best. They're
yeah,
the best
those are
at it.
true.
They're just the greatest.
Dude, I'm scared.
Anyways, so they took Artemis Fowl, right? They took the book, and I saw it, and the Jew and I, we were like, oh boy, we love Artemis Fowl, and then I watched the movie with my sister, and you know what they did in the movie? They made him into some random dude. He was just a random dude who knew about fairies, but he didn't actually, because they completely changed the entire plot of him knowing about
Oh,
fairies.
what?
They changed
Is
the
his
entire
mom
plot
still
of.
deathly ill? And
No,
his
they don't
dad
even mention
still-
his mom.
Is his
they-
dad still
they
like a
changed-
prisoner to the
No, his
mom?
mother isn't kidnapped by the
Of
mafia.
course they don't. It's
It's just
Disney.
his
Oh,
father
it's
on the criminal empire.
Disney. It's Disney. If we know anything about Disney and moms, they don't mix like oil and water. You can't have moms in Disney.
Anyways, so the whole point is that his redemption arc is supposed to take place during the book series, right? But they try to cram it all into one book so fast that it makes literally zero sense. Like one moment he has Holly hostage in this weird cage thingy, and the next moment she's like, "You have to trust me." He's like, "Oh, all right, sure," and he just takes his glasses off. And they're like, "Oh man." So like,
I
thing
can
is,
imagine
the
you
point
just
is-
sat there. and watched
Nothing
it
they do
unfold.
makes any sense, and they just screwed up his whole character. They M. Night Shyamalan'd it. I swear.
There's so many references that I'm getting. Oh my gosh! So what you're saying is that there was a redemption arc in the book, and they
But
deleted it.
not even, because he wasn't even portrayed as a criminal mastermind in the movie.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
just-
but
that
they
has
took it
highlighted
out
in the
in the
movie.
movie.
No, they didn't. It's the worst part. At the end of the movie, all right? At the end of the movie, he has a line. They're in the helicopter, being all buddy with each other, which makes no sense because they went through all of their character development of trust in like literally 7 minutes. Anyways, he's like, "My name is Artemis Fowl.
Wow.
I'm in a criminal mastermind. and the credits start, and you're sitting in your chair, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could gouge my eyes out, and that's the end of the movie.
Oh my gosh, you made Artemis Fowl just sound like the worst Joker ever.
Yeah, no, that's his actual line. That was the actual line in the end of the movie. No, he didn't. That was my artistic.
Did he smack his lips sarcastically as well?
Okay.
Thank goodness I do not need.
Hold on. I have to find out. There's a character. Oh, Josh Gad plays Moltstick. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm done ranting. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Yeah, I'm sure.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna have to watch this
You're done
movie
ranting?
now. Xavier, we have to watch this movie together.
You have to read the books to actually understand who the characters are. And then
I'm gonna watch this movie blind like this, just like this.
Then you have to watch the movie, and you're like, oh, I see. Oh, I see how it is.
So I'll watch the movie first, and then read the book, and be like, the movie was better.
Oh my God.
I'll go online and tweet about it.
The problem is that some people probably
those people are called,
be on your
young
side.
David.
Troll.
6-year-olds.
Idiots.
Anyways.
Okay, well, he's
it
not
just
wrong.
infuriates me when they mess up a redemption arc, because that's the whole point. The story isn't about the fairies, although it kind of is, but it's not really. It's about Artemis Fowl's character, because the whole thing revolves around him and his relationship with all the other characters. He's a tool, and then he becomes a nice guy.
Idiot.
He has amnesia, but no one talks about that because the LS books were kind of sucky. But who cares?
I wonder.
By the way, this character forgets everything. However, we're going to forget that and just move on with our lives.
Anything you guys want to add? After my
Isn't there? Oh, I have one last redemption arc.
What?
I actually have one. So, have any of you guys read the book Crime and Punishment?
I have not, but
No.
I heard you guys talking about it, and it seemed really interesting.
So, I read the book in my literature class once upon a time, not so long ago. And this book is probably one of the best redemption arcs I've seen, now that I think about it. And here's why. So, there's this guy, right? His name is Raskolnikov. Let's call him Rask. Yeah. So this guy has this belief, right? That there's two people in the world. There's like the alpha male and the beta male. There's the alphas and betas. Let's just call them that.
For New World, where are the gammas, deltas, and epsilons?
No.
That has a good
That's
redemption
true.
arc if you want to go into
So
that.
Raskolnikov, right? He believes that like there's these two people, and one kind of lives in service of the other, and the other is the only one that really experiences true free will. Like they do whatever they want, and no harm can really come to them, right? And so the whole book, he's trying to prove this, right? But honestly, the problem is that deep down, he's not like the superhero part. He's not the superhero kind of guy. He's the other one. He's the beta. So, like a way that he tries to do this, because his whole theory is that these superhero people can do whatever they want and never feel guilt. Like they could go murder and just they wouldn't feel bad. They'd be justified. So he goes out and he actually axe murders this pawn shop owner and her sister in their house.
Ooh.
Well, he only meant to axe the pawn shop owner, but then the sister walks in and she's like, "Oh my goodness!" And then he just, I forget who he gets, but he gets one of them straight down the head, clean. You know what I mean? And so that happens in like chapter 4, something like that.
So they're dead.
It happens really early in the book. It's him like planning out the murder, and then he does it. And the rest of the book is him trying to cope with this, because especially since the only one that he actually felt justified for was the pawn shop owner, because she was kind of a hag. And the other one was kind of like this sweet, meek lady. And so he really like felt horrible about killing her. So the whole time he's thinking about, just like, what have I done? All this, that, and the other. And he's just, how do I say it? he's gone from this like I'm the alpha of like the world. I'm one of the alphas. And then he does this, and the whole book, he's just going insane. He's just, losing his mind. And then at the end of the book, he just like, he starts coming to the realization, after he tries to kill himself and after he sees people dying around him, he's just like, I'm not the alpha. Like he's like, I'm not who I think I am. And when he realizes this, he actually turns himself in. And then the book ends with him in Siberia in prison. And so that's my redemption arc, and I think it's a very good one. I'm leaving out a lot of stuff because there's a lot of side stories that also help his own redemption, like his relationship with this little girl who's like his neighbor, and his mom and such, and his girlfriend.
Doesn't he become like a recluse? No.
Have any of you guys
A Man
seen
on Fire.
Man
Is
on
that
Fire?
with Denzel Washington?
Nope.
Yes!
With,
Class!
Yeah, with Denzel Washington. That's
Is it?
that seems
Is
like
he
a good redemption
No.
arc to talk about.
No. Why? Why? How is he redeemed?
No? From like, what is it? Because he's kind of a
No, in the
jackass
beginning,
in
he's just doing his
Throughout the
job,
whole
and then
thing.
he's like, he's for Paris and Xavier. It's Denzel Washington being a bodyguard for this little white girl down in Mexico. And so he he's just kind of doing his job at first, and then he, becomes friends with the little girl, and then she gets kidnapped. And then it goes on to this whole Taken kind of route where he's trying to find the little girl and such. And the movie ends with him trading himself to the cartel for the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And this is after he's killed a lot of people. But I don't think he's redeemed because,
yes.
I don't know if it's technically redemption. Because he was never really like a bad dude. He was just kind of like that stone cold, just kind of doing my job thing. To I love this girl, this girl's life is worth saving. So much so, and he thinks so much so that he would trade himself for her life. Which is nice, but I don't think it's technically redemption.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that
Especially
makes
because
a better
there's
point.
no redeeming. He hasn't redeemed any of the bad stuff that he's done. The ends don't justify the means, is what I'm saying. He killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
What?
No, he
What?
cut out.
David.
He faded out of existence.
David got snapped. How did we make it? We made it past the snap. Oh, there we go.
Oh, he's back.
I said he kills them in not the most glamorous ways, which I'm not going to.
Oh yeah, he cuts one.
No.
All,
Concerning
almost all
our,
of their fingers off, and then throws their car over a cliff.
we're not going to talk about the other guy.
I don't know what he did to the
Wait,
other guy, but I forget.
Oh.
There was a lot of other guys, to be fair.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Any other redemption arcs that y'all can think of?
I had one in my mind earlier before I started ranting about Artemis Fowl, but I can't remember it now.
Well,
Oh, Luke. How about Luke from Percy Jackson? Because you were talking about Disney adaptations.
Ooh, yeah. I was thinking about him. I didn't know if I wanted to bring him up or not.
Luke from Percy Jackson.
I didn't
Have
read
you read
or watch
Percy Jackson,
Percy Jackson.
Blue? Oh!
Hey, to be fair, I haven't read or watched almost anything that we've discussed. This should come as no surprise to you.
I mean, he's a guy who hates his dad. That's his character arc.
It's more than that.
All
And then he
right,
realizes,
Xavier
hey,
hit
wait.
it pretty spot on.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's like, hey, wait, I just realized I probably shouldn't kill everyone just because I hate my dad. And then he's like, I'm going to kill myself now. And so he does. And that's his redemption arc.
He kills himself?
Yeah.
Percy
Yeah,
Jackson ends with
sort
him
of.
killing himself?
No,
No,
Luke is not the main character.
Luke,
Luke is the
not Percy
antagonist.
Jackson.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Because like he sort of
He's possessed by an evil guy,
yeah,
and so he kills himself to kill
he's
the evil
possessed
guy.
by it.
oh, that's dope. Or maybe that's dope. My slang got the
Just
better.
a slow realization, like, wait a second.
Hold on a
That's not
hot
right.
minute.
Suicide is not dope.
It's not. We're not endorsing these
Disclaimer.
kids.
Disclaimer. I'm not sponsored by suicide. Oh man.
Anyway, no, Luke was.
Ah.
I think it's a very nice redemption arc, right? Because he's super jaded the entire time, and then you can see like him.
Yeah,
He comes across as kind of cool-headed because when he's about to kill Percy, like in the first book, like, oh man, it's nothing personal, kid, basically, and and then as the book
Proceeds to
progresses, you can
smite.
see him growing like more and more like emotionally distraught until he's possessed by Kronos, and then
it's kind of scary.
yeah, because he becomes like
honestly.
hysterical. And he's supposed to by Kronos, and he's like, he has like these fits where he's trying to break free of Kronos' control, and then it's kind of like he realizes that he done screwed up,
He
but
done
now he
did
can't do
goof.
anything about it.
So he just kills himself.
Yeah, so he kills himself.
Yeah, as like a last act of defiance, you would say,
And trying to be.
but also
a
to
good
save his
person.
friends.
Yes.
It's also
That is
because the
good.
prophecy was about him. Another prophecy. Wow. It turns out.
He is the
chosen
chosen
one.
one.
I think it
You
was
were
nice
the
to balance
chosen one.
expectations because you think, oh man, Percy is the chosen one, but it's not. It's Luke.
Luke
Oh
is the
yeah, I
chosen
know.
one.
I like how like first he kept thinking that he was the chosen one in the prophecy, and then it's like, oh nope, that's Luke. Okay.
How did Percy feel about not being the chosen one?
Kind of like
Well,
disappointed. I don't know.
yeah, he was disappointed, but then like he learned to accept it in a way.
Yeah.
He was a good.
But then he
main
was like,
character, as he
yeah,
should.
if I gotta kill myself to be the chosen one, maybe not.
Yeah,
I'll go
probably.
ahead.
No,
That's how
but
I-
like I kind of liked how I don't know. Yeah,
You
I guess
like
this
how
sort of
he
relates
killed
to his
himself?
redemption
That's a
arc.
little weird there, Paris.
No, not how he does. Oh, actually, this sort of actually relates to how he does it, but
There was another minor redemption arc in that whole scene. Ethan Nakamura, remember him?
Who's that one?
Yeah, I
oh
remember him.
yeah,
Yes, of course. I know you do. You know,
Yes,
you know all
of course
about
he
him,
is.
don't you, Blue?
Episode 1, baby. The Phantom
It
Menace.
was the right. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I felt bad for Nakamura too. It was pretty sad. Oh, also, actually no, would that count? Mia.
Whom?
Is
Is
that
that her name?
that's Nico's sister, right?
No, that's Bianca.
No,
I
not.
think it
Oh
was
wait, no.
Are
Bianca.
we still talking about Percy Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah, these are still Percy Jackson characters. The one from the Aphrodite cabin.
Oh
I forgot
yeah.
her name. Is it Mia?
Oh, Selena.
Yeah, Selena.
Beauregard.
Oh, would that count as a redemption arc? Because she ratted out Percy and her boyfriend, and her
And her
boyfriend
boyfriend
died
blew up. She was like, "Oh
because of
shoot!"
her. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Was he a centaur?
No, he was
No, he was
big dude.
Oh
he
yeah,
was
that's
from
right.
His name was
Hephaestus?
Beckendorf, which is a cool name.
Hephaestus.
Beckendorf. Hephaestus cabin.
Charles Beckendorf. Wouldn't you wish you were named Charles Beckendorf?
Wow. No.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
All right, anyway,
No, but yeah, he got
he
blown
was
up
blown sky high.
because he chose to blow up.
Yeah, he
chose?
did get exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "It's either me or you, Percy." And Percy's like, "No, don't do it." And he's like, "Psych, I'm the one blowing up today.
Do it.
Do it."
And in
Wow.
spite of all these references, episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Makes no,
Please
no idea what he's
stop.
talking about. Anyways, yeah, Percy Jackson had some nice reaction arcs, but unfortunately, Rick Riordan is also insane. I'm saying it's
Moral of the
See, I
story.
haven't read the other books, like the next series. So
worse. It's a bit worse.
It's not
It's
really worth it.
worse.
You read
Just
one,
get-
you've read them all.
Well, it's like it starts off fine, and it like just goes worse progressively, and you're just like, "Oh man, I'm done."
All right.
Anyways, that was our little tangent.
Anyways.
Those exclusive.
To be honest, I can't think. I'm tapped out of redemption arcs. Straight
There are
out.
a lot more. Redemption arcs are one of the most popular.
Oh,
Maybe you can redeem your
countless.
presents.
Oh. Redeem your customer point. Don't worry.
I actually gotta go cash in these gift cards.
Gift
Anyway.
card? I want some gift cards.
Anyway,
But yeah,
so yeah,
this has
I
been
think that's
another
gonna-
episode.
That is the most unsatisfying conclusion to an episode ever, maybe. I don't know, who cares? I don't care.
I
yeah,
know.
it's just like this long pause. I'm tired, man. It's late. Give me a break.
Maybe we should
It's
stop.
only 10:15.
Maybe we should stop recording at like this late.
It's the problem is just
You
that
had work, man.
these are ideal hours.
Remember
All right,
that?
sign us off.
All right.
See you next time on the drawing board. We can't say that because it's copyrighted.